Hi, I'm Donna Fields, and welcome to CLIL Helping Hand Webinar Short 1, the first of a series of webinars designed to give you a few ideas of how to change over to student-centered learning. These are ideas that I've given in conferences in Mexico, in Brazil, in Finland, and here in Spain, where I'm based. At the end of each webinar, I'm going to go through one scaffolding technique you can find in my book, 101 Scaffolding Techniques for Language Teaching and Learning, that also has been translated into Spanish. So today we're going to talk about the origins of traditional teaching, and then I'm going to go through how to use scaffolding technique number 16. Are we ready? Okay, so the objectives for this session, and it's very important in your classes, in our classes, to share the objectives with our students and co-create as much as possible. The studies show that this is very important for students to feel more empowered and involved in their own learning. So today we're going to explore the origins of traditional teaching and also consider why it may not be the most effective way to give information. So now you may wonder why I'm showing a picture of a horse, and do you know what these are called? They're called blinders, and they make sure a horse doesn't look left or right, doesn't look behind, and there's probably someone behind whipping the poor horse, making sure it goes at the speed that person wants it to go and not what the horse wants to go. Now, a little dramatic, but why do I have a picture of a boy here? Well, what do we do with our students in the classroom? We make them look in front of them. They can't work with their classmates to the left or the right. They can't look behind, and they have to go at our pace instead of learning at their own pace. So these might not be the best way to impart information. Where did this come from? Where did traditional teaching start? A lot of you may think that it started in the Industrial Revolution 100 years ago. It's been around for even longer than that. In the late 1800s, the Prussian king wanted all of his citizens to obey him, and his advisors told him the best way was to start with the children. So they weren't allowed to move from their seats unless they got permission from this authority figure, the many kings and queens in every classroom. And then when the Industrial Revolution came around, you'll see that we still use the same model today. It's also called cells and bells in many places because we can consider our classroom a cell. They're not allowed to leave unless we give them permission. And when the bell rings, they switch the task or they change rooms. As we said before, it does have a history in the Industrial Revolution. When factory owners saw that the best workers were those that didn't move unless they were given permission and were used to rote tasks, they said, we're going to keep this same school model. And so they made sure in the schools the students had to sit in their seats and not move unless given permission to, and they had to do the same exercises day after day and get used to rote learning. Well, we don't want our students necessarily to go into factory work unless they want to. We want to give them as many possibilities as possible. But this is where the traditional teaching came from, and we want to just reconsider what our objectives are and what the opportunities we want to give our students are.